The Roaring Eighties. The Roaring Eighties had its fair share of speculative excesses, and again, unworthy investors paid the price for building castles in the air. The decade started with another speculator new issues boom. The triumphant return of new issues. The high-technology new issues boom of the first half of 1983 was an almost perfect replica of the 1960s episodes, with the names altered slightly to include the new fields of biotechnology and microelectronics. The 1983 craze made the promoters of the 1960s look like pickers. The total value of new issues during 1983 was greater than the cumulative total of new issues for the entire preceding decade. For investors, initial public offerings are the hottest game in town. Take for example a company that paneled to mass produce personal robots called Androbot, and a chain of the 3 restaurants in New Jersey called Stuff Your Face Inc. Indeed, the euthanization extended to quality issues such as Fine Art Acquisitions Ltd. This was not some visiting outfit peddling discounts clothing or making computer hardware. This was a truly aesthetic enterprise. Fine Art Acquisitions, the prospectus tells us, was in the business of acquiring and distributing fine prints and Art Deco spectre replicas. One of the company's major assets consists of a group of nude photographies of books Shelley's taken about midway between her time in the Solar and her entrance to Princeton. Apparently, there were some potential legal problems, such as a suit by Mom Schultz, who had some objection to the exploitation of these pictures of the prepubescent 11-year-old Brooke. But after all, this was for the architect's purposes, and obviously this was a class company. Probably the offering of Muhammad Ali Arcades International boosts the bubble. This offering was not particularly remarkable considering all the other garbage coming out at the time. It was unique, however, in that it shows that a penny could still buy a lot. The company proposed to offer units of 1 share and 2 warrants for the modest price of €1. Of course, this was 333 times what insiders had recently paid for their own shares, which wasn't unusual either, but when it was discovered that the champ himself had resisted the temptation to buy any stock in his namesake company. Investors began to take a good look at where they are. Most did not like what they saw. The result was a dramatic decline in small company stocks in general and in the market prices of initial public offerings in particular. In the course of a year, many investors lost as much as 90% of their money. The prospectus cover of Muhammad Ali Arcades International features a picture of the former champ standing over a fallen opponent. In his cell days, Ali used to claim that he could float like a butterfly and sting like a bee. It turns out that Ali Arcades offering, as well as the Androbot offering that was scheduled for July 1983, never did get floated. But many others did, particularly stocks of those companies on the bleeding edge of technology. As has been true time and time again, it was the investors who got stung. The concept conquered again. The biotechnology bubble. What electronics was to the 1960s, biotechnology became to the 1980s. The biotech revolution was likened to that of the computer, and optimism regarding the promise of genius policing was reflected the prices of biotech company stocks. Genentech, the most substantial company in the industry, came to market in 1980. During the first 20 minutes of the trading, the stock almost tripled in value. Other new issues of biotech companies were eagerly gobbled up by hungry investors who saw a chance to get into a multi-billion-dollar new industry on the ground floor. The key product that drove the first wave of the biotech flange was interferon, a cancer-fighting drug. Analysts predicted that the sales of interferon would exceed $1 billion by 1982. In reality, sales of these successful products were barely 200 million in 1989, but there was no holding back the dreams of the castles in the air. Analysts continually predict this as explosion of earnings 2 years out for the biotech companies. Analysts were continually disappointed, but the technological revolution was real and hope springs eternal. Even weak companies benefit under the umbrella of the technology potential. So, in my case, and when I see this paragraph, I think there is a little bit the similar thing with now, because now, so after the outbreak of COVID-19, so many tech companies overrated, I guess, because I don't like to say it's a bubble, but because I don't know, yeah, it can be the potential thing or valuable things or not. But so when I invested some market, the stock market, so I rarely invest that some fields. Some usually invested in the oil or petrochemical and energy and so on. So you say if I have time, I'm gonna make some investors some investment some video. So yeah. Anyway, let's go to the next paragraph. Valuations levels of biotechnology stocks reaches levels previously unknown to investors. In the 1960s, speculative growth stocks might have sold at 50 times earnings. In the 1980s, some biotech stocks sold at 50 times sales. As a student of valuation techniques, I was fascinated to read how security analysts rationalized these prices, because biotech companies typically had no current earnings and realistically no positive earnings expected for several years, and a little sales, no valuation. Some method had to be devised. My favorite was the product's asset valuation method recommended by one of Wall Street's leading securities houses. Basically, the method involves the estimation of the value of all the products in the pipeline of each biotech company, even if the planned product involves nothing more than the drawings of the genetic engineer. A potential sales volume and a profit margin were estimated for each product. That was merely a glance in some scientist's eye. The total value of the product pipeline would then give the analysts a fair idea of the price at which the company's stocks should sell. None of the potential problems seems real to the optimists. Perhaps U.S. Food and Drug Administration approval would be delayed. Interferon was delayed for several years. Would the market bear the fancy drug price tags that were projected? Would patent protection be possible, as virtually every product in the biotechnology pipeline was being developed to simulate simultaneously by several companies, or are patent clashes inevitable? Would much of the potential profit from a successful drug be siphoned off by the marketing partner of the biotech company, usually one of the major drug companies? In the mid-1980s, none of these potential problems seems real. Indeed, the biotech stocks are regarded by own analysts as the least risky than the standard drug companies, because there were no old products which needs to be offset because of their declining revenues. We had come full cycle, having positive sales and earnings was actually considered a drawback, because those profits might decline in the future. But during the late 1980s, most biotechnology stocks lost three-quarters of their market value. Even real technology revolutions do not guarantee benefit for investors. ZZZ, best bubble of all. My favorite bomb and boost of the late 1980s is the story of the ZZZ bits. Here was the incredible heroic RX story that captivated investors. In the fast-paced world of the entrepreneurs who strike it rich before the cane shaved, Barry McCool was a genuine legend of the 1980s. McCool's career began at age 9. His family could not afford a babysitter, so Barry often went to work at the carpet cleaning shop managed by his mother. There he began associating jobs by pawn. By age 10, he was actually cleaning the carpets, working evenings and summers. He saved $6,000 within the next 4 years, and by the age of 15, he bought some steam cleaning equipment and started his own carpet cleaning business in the garage of the family house. The company was called ZZZZ, best. The pronounce is Z's best. Still in high school and too young to drive, Neko hired a crew to pick up and clean carpet while he sat in class fretting over each week's payroll, with Maku working a punishing schedule and having friends drive him to appointments. The business flourishes. He was proud of the fact that he hired his father and mother to work for the business. By age 18, Marco was a millionaire. Marco's insatiable appetite for work extended to self-promotion. He took on all the tangible trappings of success. He drove a red Ferrari and lived in the Evesh's home, with a large pool in which a big black jet was painted on the bottom. He also publicly extolled good old-fashioned American virtues. He wrote a book entitled "Making It in America," in which he claimed that teenagers did not work hard enough. He gave generously to charities and appeared on anti-drug commercials with the slogan, "My act is clean. How was yours?" By this time, Z's Best has 1,300 employees in the location throughout California as well as Arizona and Nevada. Was more than 100 times earning too much to pay for a mundane carpet cleaning company? Of course not. When the company was run by a genius and a speculatively successful businessman who could also show his tongueness, Manco's favorite line to his employees was "My way or the highway," and his aunt boasted that he would fire his own mother if he stepped out of line. When Manco told Wall Street that his company was better run than IBM and that it was destined to become the General Motors of carpet cleaning. Investors listened with a rapid attention. As on security analysts told me at the time, this one can't miss. In 1987, Macau's bubble burst with the shocking suddenness. It turns out that G's best was cleaning more than the carpets. It was also laundering money for the mob. G's best was accused of acting as a front for organized crime figures who would buy equipment for the company with dirty money and replace their investment with clean cash schemes from the proceeds of G's best's legitimate carpet cleaning business. But in fact, the speculator growth of the company was itself mainly an elaborate fiction produced with the fictions as contracts, penny credit card charges, and like that. The whole operation was a giant Ponzi scheme in which money was recycled from one set of investors to buy off another. In addition, Macau was charged with scheming millions from the company treasury for his own personal use. Macau, as well as all the investors in G's Best, were in wall-to-wall trouble. The next chapter of the story, after chapter 11, occurred in 1989 when Wenko, then 23, was convicted of 57 counts of fraud, sentenced to 25 years in prison, and required to make restitution of 26 million. He was accused of the stealing from the company. The U.S. District Judge, in rejecting pleas for innocence, told Macau, "You are dangerous because you have this gift of gab." This ability to communicate, the judge added, "You don't have a conscience." But the story does not end there. Macau spent 54 months in Lompoc Federal Prison, where he became a born-again Christian, running a bachelor's and master correspondence school degree from Reliability University, founded by Jerry Falwell. After his release in December 1994, he became the senior pastor at Community Bible Church in California, where he held his congregation in rapt attention with his evangelical style. He also has become a one-man media conglomerate, using his unique skills as a communicator to speak out on how he got away with committing fraud. He has written several books, including Cleaning Up and Down, but Not Out, has conducted a daily nationally syndicated radio program, and uses his charismatic skills as a much-in-demand lecturer. He has also been hired as a special advisor for the FBI on how to spot fraud. In 2006, Michael prosecutor James Asperger wrote, "Barry has made a remarkable turnaround both in his personal life and in uncovering more fraud than he ever contemplated."